recently around college students for the first time in a long time, and I'm not going to sit here and bash all the college students. Okay, that's not what I'm saying, because I met some of them and they were nice, but I go by a general feel. I remember how when I was in college, how that felt.
Yes.
So I went and spoke at my old school, my old college, and I decided to go walk around campus afterwards and just see, okay, because there's some new stuff I wanted to see. But then I just saw the people walking around, and this is the first time I had been on campus since smartphones were just rampant, because I didn't even have a smartphone when I was in college, even though I could have gotten one. I didn't want one. I got one after I graduated, and a lot of my friends didn't have smartphones at the time.
Yeah,
so it was a long time ago, 9+ years ago, and so I was just trying to, I didn't even mean to do this. I was just like walking around looking at the new buildings and stuff, and I just kept taking note of just like the weirdness that it felt like, just how disconnected people felt, how everybody was looking down, just having, this one guy walked past, had AirPods in, and then I saw on your Deep Thoughts, you were going to talk about how AirPods are ruining society.
Yeah.
And then it brought me back to when I was walking around campus and saw this, and it was just depressing. It was like, wow, this is, and then you show me this metaverse thing where they're like talking to each other. I cannot see that happening. I cannot see people going into the metaverse and looking at each other in the eyes.
Mark's like, I helped create this society where no one looks at each other anymore. I have to fix it by starting conversations in the metaverse.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. And so then I was, just talking to different people there, and it's like, yeah, it's different than when you guys were here.
You hear about like this nihilism and stuff in the current generation. Yeah. I was at the Xfinity store, the Comcast store, whatever you call it, the other day, waiting, for my turn to get looked at for a phone or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like a 30-40 minute wait, so I'm just standing there, and I just thought to myself, everybody else waiting here is going to be staring at their phone. I'm going to make an effort to just stand here and not look at my phone for the whole time that I'm here. Mm-hmm. And I had to pick it up a couple times to text Kelly or whatever, but for the most part, I just stood there, and it was very peaceful. But everybody just, as soon as the big tough guys, the small women, like everybody, is just plops down, just pulls out their phone and is just staring at it.
Yeah.
And you're right. It feels very different being out. And so that made me think about something I have been thinking about, the AirPod thing. It feels like it's like the phones have disconnected us. And so if you're not looking at your phone, you've got your AirPods in, so you're still in your own little world.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that too. Because when I go out, okay, I got to go run to the store real quick, get some things for the family. I'm just like, I'll use this as an opportunity to get caught up on a podcast that I don't get to listen to or whatever. So I'm in my head, I'm doing it as an efficiency thing, but I'm realizing that sometimes people will talk to me and I have to be like, hang on, I can't, what'd you say? Hi, how you doing? I try to be nice, but also I've created a barrier where it's like if somebody wanted to interact with me.
Yeah.
And certainly when you go out and you see people with AirPods in, you don't talk to them because you feel like, well, they're not going to hear me anyway.
Oh, so you mean like wearing them in the store?
Yeah, in the stores.
Yeah. I did that one time when I first got my AirPods, and I never did it again.
Yeah.
I thought, this is just weird.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that I thought people were just looking at me or anything, but I just thought like that epiphany of like, what am I doing?
Most of the time, if I'm at a store by myself, it's because I have a mission. I need to get something quick. I'm not just like looking around. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I'll get caught up on something while I'm doing this real quick. But I'm realizing that I don't think that
I think it's a net negative for society.
That's what I think too.
Yeah. You always have to think, if every single person in this store was doing this, how would it feel?
Exactly. That's
and not
exactly
just me
right.
As the exception.
If everybody had their AirPods in, would the world be better or worse? It would be worse. It would be much worse.
Or would it be better or worse in this grocery store right now? And the answer is, you would think this is horrifying.
Right.
So that is why I stopped.
Yeah. It made me think too that I feel like you started seeing more people using AirPods at the same time as all the pandemic stuff was going on. So there were like two big shifts happening at the same time. One, you there was this situation created where it was like, I got to stay away from people. And then there was also this situation where it was like, and now I'm in my own little bubble with my AirPods in.
Yeah.
I'm really touched by what you said that affected me to think about if everybody was wearing the AirPods. Because in my head, I'm like, well, I'm an exception because I'm a dad just trying to run to the store real quick, and I just want to listen to something. I don't get much time. If I'm working on the computer, it's because I'm having to listen to things. I don't get to listen to a podcast.
Yeah.
When I go out, I'm going to listen to a podcast. But by doing that, I am helping creating
a
a
worse
bad
society for your kids.
That's exactly
your kids
right.
went and they saw everybody with AirPods in or everybody with masks on, and they were the only ones not.
That's exactly right, man.